The reason why young men are right-wing and are becoming more right-wing is because society is engineered to disadvantage them.
True.
Every single advantage in society is engineered to exclude young men, and especially young white men. So why would you, as a white guy, like let's say you're a 20-year-old white guy, why would you be in the same party of people that think that you have some sort of collective guilt for slavery, that want to impose reparations on you because of that, that think that they should be able to preferentially hire somebody else instead of you because of a racial quota, who think that women should have privileges that you don't have in universities, and any expression of masculinity is usually seen as toxic and gets you sent to HR. Mm-hmm. Why would a guy want to vote for that? Why would a 20-year-old guy want that? You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's actually really simple. Like,
he does a very good job of consolidating thoughts into a 60-second soundbite.
He does.
Like,
he's very good at doing that. And he's not wrong. That's exactly the case. And the only white men who are interested in propping up the party that disadvantages them are the ones that are brainwashed enough to think that they are ushering in communism and that everything will be good, and that they are one of the good ones who will also be welcomed with open arms.
Right. Before they're literally, back against the wall, facing a firing squad, right? I saw a stat. They were talking about this the other day when it comes to young men and just the next generation. I guess it's Generation Alpha that's coming up. So, apparently the boomers, they're about to die off, mm-hmm. right? But apparently there's half as many Generation Alpha than there are boomers. So there's concern that the left, its numbers are going to drop dramatically because a lot of boomers are left leaning, and the younger generation coming up, as Asmongold points out, specifically males, are leaning right. And there's a lot of concern that within the party that maybe not this election, but the election following, that things could go very, very bad for anybody on the left or on the Democratic Party because of that.
I certainly hope so. I know that there is also, like, the indoctrination from communists has been going on for generations here. And so it feels like this newest generation, those who have been indoctrinated by the left, are deeply indoctrinated, unsalvageable. But then the ones who manage to not fall into that indoctrinated path are, like, basically beyond what Hitler could have imagined for his greatest soldiers. So it's like you have two very, very extremes in the same generation at this point. And I think it's, again, going back to that book that I just bought, that same exact page I referenced earlier was also talking about how in order to try and disincentivize people from being enticed by communism, that is why the white man tends to give more rights to minorities and to women, is to sort of encourage them that, hey, look what we can give you. You don't need communism. You're treated better and even elevated above us, so you don't need communism. And I was like, that is a fucking crazy gamble. And this book was like sometime in the 1950s. So this was like really strange to see in print.
Seems that McCarthy guy didn't have it all. Didn't get it all wrong.
100% right.
He was not only 100% right, but unfortunately, more people believed those demonizing McCarthy instead of believing McCarthy himself. I guess that's what happens when you have too much faith in other humans and you want to believe that they're engaging you in good faith when they're just lying to you.
Do you think that there should be something like that happening in the States today, where I know that there's some sort of rule, and I'm speaking very vaguely here because I just know the super high level of it. But when it comes to communism and these people who are openly communist, that there are laws in place. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I feel like there are laws in place that allow you to more or less say no to communism. Those who are anti-American, I guess, is the better way to say it.
That's the hard part about fighting communists, specifically only with like legalities and legislation. You're fighting people whose entire mantra is to fuck up your language. Like, all they do is subvert language and take something that is a universally understood concept, morph it into something else, and then assert that new thing is the true one definition that everyone should be using. And it makes it not only more difficult for people to communicate, but it makes it difficult to legislate against insidious ideologies like communism. So the Communist Control Act specifically states about being part of the Communist Party. So all you have to do to not have the Communist Control Act be affecting you is to not consider yourself part of the Communist Party, which is why a lot of people started calling themselves democratic socialists. It was a way to get around that. And also, in addition to that, like when Trump made his executive order to try and get rid of DEI, he said DEI and by any other name, right? But then what is DEI? How are you going to describe this? And if you describe it one way, they can be like, oh, well, you didn't include this thing, so now that's what we're going to do. So it's really hard to fight liars when you want to be completely honest about everything and more people believe the liars than the truth.
Phoenix, you got anything to add to that?
Again, this would all have been solved with what I was saying before, human nature. If it was allowed to just run its course, these people would not stand. They wouldn't be welcome here. Personally, the most extreme take I can give you at this point is I think we're looking at a very, very, very dire future. I do believe the communists are going to win, and
wow.
Yeah, no, I do. Because you're seeing it free roaming now. And again, I would say that our side typically laughs at stuff. I've been screaming, please stop laughing.
Yep.
They're gaining ground. For the love of God, please stop laughing. But we
Same.
keep laughing. So I do think ultimately they're going to win. It doesn't take a lot for them to win. They've won on just winning a little city. So it can happen. I mean, I'm hoping not. And I'm saying that so as to hope that we don't get to that point. But I am now of the extreme opinion now that we do need to actually start hitting back extreme. And this needs to be like whatever administration's in power, they need to be fighting this. There should be a department that just fights this thing completely and put them through litigation. You are just hitting them constantly. They make a name change. You change your little law. You keep going and fighting and fighting and fighting this. And you have to start doing things like, I don't know, even making it accessible to homeschool your children with literature that helps them, and a new curriculum that starts putting American values in place. Like, we really need to see an extreme output on our side now to combat that other extreme. And then you just hope, it very rarely happens, that you hope that once you've gotten what you wanted, then you reset back to normal. That's the tricky part. It's always that then you just go to one extreme. We don't want that. So I just think we need to start hitting hard now.
I agree with pretty much everything you said, except I don't think that the communists will inevitably win wholesale.
I'm trying to rally the troops.
I know. And it's hard because I do the same thing. And it's just like, as much as you think maybe voting or the political theater is all a complete sham at this point, the only thing you can realistically do is get involved yourself, right? Like, if we want to do whatever we can to avoid a violent outcome, even if you think it's pointless and it's worthless and there's just no reason to do it, everything's rigged, everything's against you, if nothing matters, then still cast your vote. If nothing matters, then still try to get involved. Get people around you that believe the same thing, that want to fight back against this absolute menace that is a poison cancer to our system. Do what you can, and if that doesn't work, then yeah, we only have one option left. But I don't want to give up until we've at least tried to get more on the ground grassroots people involved. In New Hampshire, you can see a ton of people trying to push back on this and actually making gains. It's been wonderful to see some of the politicians in New Hampshire actually doing stuff against this and actually getting people to support them. It's been great. And if that can happen in New Hampshire, that can happen in other states. Yeah, there's dire situations like Mamdani in New York City, like those fucking freaks that got elected in Virginia, like in Seattle, like in Washington. yeah, it happens, but you can't just be completely black-pilled and give up, because that's how you ensure that they win.
Well, I love we talk a lot. Gotta do. Can't let them break down the wall. I'll tell you what, Phoenix, you said you feel like the communists are going to win. That's like a very black-pilled statement, even though you're always talking about don't be black-pilled.
But I'm saying it with the hopes that people like the major problem with I'll say for me, the major problem I have with my side,
we'd rather fight each other.
Yeah, and I keep hearing things that just absolutely, I want to bang my head into the wall. That's like, well, we have all the guns. Like, dude, they're beating you without your guns. Like, they're beating you.
Yep.
And eventually, when they own, you can have all the guns in the world, my man. If you have no communication with your other groups, you're going to lose, my friend. Them guns mean jack shit. Also, on top of that, your kids are indoctrinated. So guess what? When you die off, bye-bye. Your ideology is gone with it. You can have all the guns in the world. I guarantee you, with them, the fact that they have the megaphone, I guarantee you that they'll go to your kids and say, don't you want to give us your gun? They'll go, yeah, I do want to give you our gun. And they'll voluntarily hand it over. So this waiting around and like, fuck around and find out, all this bullshit, keep saying that because you're losing. You're losing ground. We have been boiling in the pot so long now that we're just laughing at like, oh, look at all these communists that are starting to gain power. My dude, communists are gaining power in America. At what point do you want to take this seriously and stop saying, well, eventually we'll win? My man, I wouldn't wait on that. You know, hey, maybe we will. Great. I would prefer we come up with a strategy to ensure that it doesn't.
I would prefer to not have to live through the horrors of communism to then win. I want to win before that happens.
Yeah. So Ray Charles, what I'm trying to say is that I'm saying that hopefully to inspire people to try and show the urgency of it. Do I necessarily think they're gonna win? It feels that way, but my goal is to fight it tooth and nail, and try to make sure it doesn't get to that point. But we're not going to get there by treating it lighthearted as though it's not a real, genuine threat. Especially when, look, the easiest solve is if you had a great economy. If kids felt that they had a future, that they were going to have a home, they could build a family. Guess what? We're probably going to hit another depression. So, that's going to be an issue. So since we can't combat it with a flourishing economy, man, we got to start doing with education. We got to starting to find other means to take this on, because they're going to use that as a strategy.
And no one else call him. Notice the Phoenix called Craig Ray Charles. Well, that was pretty good.
That was good, yeah. Or Stevie Blunder, as ST0 says in the chat. I'm just asking a question. I wanted to hear more about his thoughts on it. I think it's great. So.
No, honestly, what's funny about the reason I call you Ray Charles is because you actually don't even move. Like, it's just like you just.
Yeah, usually my eyes are the ones doing the movement. And I'm here just so locked in right now. You can't see where I'm looking.
Yeah,
I kind of like it.